Welcome to the Litigation Psychology Podcast, brought to you by Courtroom Sciences. Dr. Steve Wood here with me, Dr. Bill Kanasky. Bill, how's it going?
Well, I know one thing, and we don't know when this is going to be posted. Could be a couple of weeks from now, right? So let's not give away what week it is. But I can assure you that my college football picks that we did preseason have gone right into the toilet.
Yeah,
I can just I'll tell you that right now. Yours actually are looking okay.
Yeah.
This is why I do not bet on this stuff. Oh my gosh. And you know exactly who I'm talking about. Like two of my just done. Like I'm just done.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's what makes it interesting though, is you never know. When you think you know, you don't know.
Yeah. But what I will say, my Chicago Bears need to everybody should be by the time this podcast gets posted, everybody should be fired. All of them.
I was going to say, I don't think it matters what week we would post this.
Doesn't matter what week. Steve, they haven't won a game in over 300 days. Their last win was last October. They've lost 13 in a row. Well, I just gave some away. Hey, by the time this post, they will have lost what, 16 in a row?
Yeah.
15 in a row?
Yeah.
Fire
everybody. I'm a Jets fan, so I can't say much else though. So just
well, listen, you guys put I listen, I wanted Rodgers to do well there. And I really wanted that to go someplace, and that lasted. The memes on that are hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
What do you get? 4 plays in? I think you got 4 plays.
Yeah, 4 plays. Yeah, all of 4 plays. All right.
Well, this is going to be a great podcast. This is going to be a great podcast because I know we need to do part 2 of the operant conditioning. We talked about what you need to do as an attorney, right? And what we do a lot of as consultants to work with your witness and use these psychological principles. But now we're going to cover what the opposing counsel is doing actually to your witness during the deposition and what to look out for. But you can train the witness to detect these things. But before that, we got to go into an epic rant. And I know you're going to be all over this because you and I text about this every week. Every week. And you're really good at you send me a lot of text messages, rather, because we both go to the gym frequently. And I think for both of us, because we travel, probably part of the time it's the hotel gym and part of the time it's your local gym. But this rant, I think, applies across the board, no matter what gym you're at. So what I've done, and I checked this out with you, but I want you to contribute to all these. I have gone through I've developed a classification system for men, not women, men at the gym. Because I got to tell you, the gym is amazing people watching. Fair?
Yes.
Right? But it's the women are fine. It's the men that make me crazy. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And we've got to break down this classification system. And I want you to give me your thoughts to each one. So I have several classifications of them. Okay. So types of guys at the gym that make you and I nuts. Let's start there. Number 1, the old creepy guy. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Right. Usually over 70, right? And just a creepy dude, right? Typically just looking at all the younger women. And now they're always there. And hey, I applaud. Hey, listen, you want to live a long time. I mean, fitness is arguably, right? That's what the scientists say. Number 1 thing you should be doing. Do you got the old, in my gym, I got a couple of creepy guys. How about you?
In my gym, I don't. I actually have a couple old guys though that would probably put us to shame. Actually,
maybe you to shame,
huh? Yeah, yeah, right. Maybe put me to shame. But no, there's some old guys actually that in my gym that are pretty good for being old. But I know exactly what you're talking about though.
Well, I do live in Florida where there's just older population. Okay, yeah. You live in College Station.
Yeah, it's mostly.
Okay? So I think there's this is not evenly distributed across all gyms. Okay, so I have so old creepy guy.
I'm gonna have a lot of the other ones though on this list.
I know. Yeah, this is coming. Okay, number 2, I call the don't belong guy. Now I've got 2 of these at my local gym. They come in, and it happened at the hotel gym too. The dude comes in. I kid you not. He's wearing a polo, khakis, and loafers. Like he's on his lunch break over at the bank or over at the financial advising office and comes in and starts working out in like business casual. Have you seen one of these?
Yeah, I have seen one of those before. Yes. And I always wonder, like you said, are they going back to work? Are they coming from work?
I don't understand.
I'm a sweater, so like if I were to go and do something
I
like
know,
that,
right?
it would be bad.
I mean, can you not bring a duffel bag? Come on. Okay, so we got old creepy guy, we got don't belong guy. Okay, here's the one that drives you crazy. I know I'm positive this drives you crazy, and I have several of these. I know you have the same. I'm gonna call him the tough guy.
Yeah.
The tough guy. So here's what it is: a lot of grunting and verbal noise during repetitions, right?
Yep.
The appearance of pure anger. Okay, and this is the best one. Has to like pace around in circles between sets.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
and to top it off, has to slam the weights down when they're done.
that drives me nuts. As you know, it drives me absolutely nuts.
It's not necessary.
No, it's not. You can control heavy weight without slamming it down. And in fact, my son actually slammed his weights the other day by accident, and he was like mortified. He was mortified.
You need to, yeah, you can't tolerate that.
Yeah.
But you have to teach your kid. You don't need to be right, like as you're lifting. Okay, I just don't think that's necessary either. I mean, there's certain gyms for that. You know, I go to my neighborhood gyms, kind of normal population. They got bodybuilding gyms, right? You go do that. But yeah, the tough guy. You know, every gym has one of those.
Yeah.
And this is kind of related. Sometimes we may have an interaction effect here. The next one is I call the serious guy. Okay, so this is the guy that brings the duffel bag with him, doesn't put it in the locker, brings it to, like, carries it around with him to each machine or each bench, right?
Yeah.
And they're actually like mixing protein shakes and taking vitamins during the workout. Have you seen this?
That I have not seen personally.
Yeah. I got two of these in my gym, and the guy, I mean, he's like mixed, like actually he's got a big bottle of water, and he's like, I guess he's trying to time his protein synthesis, right?
Probably, yeah.
And taking vitamins or creatine during the workouts. I mean, I do that stuff pre and post, but I mean, do you think that's a little over the top?
Probably, yeah. I would say. I mean,
I don't think, again, not necessary, but hey, this is the world we're living in. Okay, next one I got. You definitely have a couple of these. Let's just call this guy the idiot. Okay, does not belong in the gym, using the equipment wrong, has no earthly idea what he's doing. Now, see, these people concern me, Steve, because I fear serious injury with some of the. I mean, if you're using one of these machines wrong, or you're on free weights and your form's bad, I mean, you're asking for an emergency room visit, are you not?
Yes. Now, I guess the question becomes, though, then you have to ask yourself, do you go up and help them, though? Or are you overstepping your bounds to help them?
No, because then you're going to, no, because that, okay, so now, because now if you do that, you're going to turn into my next guy, which I call, and by the way, I think this is the worst. I call him the instructor. There's nothing more annoying. Hey, I know what I've been lifting weights since I've been 13 years old, Steve. I double majored in exercise science. Okay. It's the guy that walks around telling people how to do the exercise correctly. You know this guy? You don't even know this guy.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to keep your elbows in a little bit. It's like, screw you. What, get away from me. What are you doing? You're like, they think they're trainers or something, and they're going through and telling everybody what to do. It's annoying. Really, it's really annoying, You should keep your back straighter when you do that. It's like, okay, shut up. Okay, if I need a personal trainer, I'd hire one. Again, the next guy, and this is a close second, I can't stand it. And you have to have one of these. I'll call him the talker.
Yeah.
The talker. Now, I work out alone because I'm not going to the gym to socialize. Okay. I got my earbuds in. I'm going there to lift heavy things until it hurts over and over. I'm going to do it again and again and again. And yeah, I'm getting out a little rage. I like it. Do you have the guy that like kind of wants to talk about the game? And I'm like, no, dude, I'm here to work. You got a couple of those guys, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And it's like one of those if you get trapped, you're in trouble because there goes the, 10 minutes between your next set.
Yeah. I know. It's just, it's like, okay, get away from me. And I don't want to be I want to be a dick, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got work to do, and I'm very, very focused when I'm lifting. And I don't want to talk about the new Netflix special when I'm about to leg press 750. I don't need that in my life. Okay. The next one, which you kind of alluded to, and I got 3 of these at my gym, and I would love to be one of these one day. And I'm gonna call this guy the old man badass. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I got 3 guys at my gym that are easily 65 to 68 range. Steve, I think they could kill me with their bare hands. I mean, these guys look,
Yeah.
I mean, they look like Arnold, and they're in their late 60s. I'm absolutely terrified, and I'm a pretty big dude. These guys, you ever watch these guys work out?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, wow. So I'd like to graduate to that stage. I'm not
Yeah.
quite old enough yet. I would hope 15 years you could start calling me old. But those guys are very impressive. Very, I mean, very, very impressive. And this is those guys you just don't mess with, right?
Yeah. No, those we definitely have a few of those guys, and I'm always, like I said, I'm always impressed that someone who's that old can be in that good shape.
Okay. Final 2, and these are 2 bad ones. And you know, you definitely have these, and I'm guilty of this too. But I have to rest between my sets. Okay. Let's call this guy the texter, right? Yeah. So between each set, right? What is he doing? Right. Well, he's on his phone texting. Well, you know, maybe I'm waiting for that machine. Now, listen, I lift pretty heavy. So in between sets, I'm a solid 2 minutes, sometimes 3, to catch my breath, to get, you know, because I mean, I'm lifting some pretty heavy stuff here. I have to get recharged. I can't, you know, I can't do shoulder press, rest for 30 seconds, then do it again. That's a really bad idea for many reasons. So if I'm on the, you know, let's just say the one of the machines, say lat pull down, right, and I'm doing heavy, well, yeah, I get my phone and I may check what song I'm on and fast forward the song. I may send you a text or something, but I take 2 minutes. Do you ever see the guy sit there and like, well, for 7 minutes, we'll just be on YouTube or
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. But I will say that I fall into that sometimes. Not the whole watching YouTube, but I do.
No, yeah, but I think it's safe because I mean, listen, I like to do maybe get on my newsreel,
Yeah.
maybe you know read something to
Send me
get the
some
time by.
TikToks about how bad the Bears are.
Yes, yes, and I like to do that. Actually, I have a no TikTok policy at the gym because it
Oh, really?
distracts me. But I'll read a news story or a fitness article or something like that. So, and the last one, and this is your nomination, um, the shamer,
Yeah.
the shamer. I tell us about the shamer. I've seen these.
No, I'm the ones I always see is that the person who posts a video of someone and about doing something, although whether they're doing it right or wrong, or the way they're dressed, or if they're a heavier person who's trying to work out, and then
Yeah,
basically post it on social media and just dogs on that person.
well, yeah. So typically, the shamer is taking pictures
Yes.
of the don't belong guy, the tough guy. Sometimes it's the tough guy because they're trying to make fun of the tough guy, which is maybe not a good thing. Taking pictures of the idiot,
Yeah.
right? And they're putting that online to shame them.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so there you have it. If we've missed anything, please feel free to reach out to us. But I mean, that's what I'm seeing at the gym. And again, the people watching is fantastic. And but I think we'll get some more categories as life goes on, right?
Yeah. There's always a new category.
Okay.
But
Well,
speaking of
don't be a
categories,
shamer. Don't be a shamer.
don't be a shamer is exactly right. There's actually a guy, Joey Swole, on Facebook, TikTok, and all that, who actually kind of
We swole.
Joey
Okay.
Swole. Yeah,
And
he
that's obviously that's not his name.
no,
But
but he actually is. He actually goes and gets pretty angry when people are doing the shaming, and so he tries to change gym culture. So
well, it should be because I do see people in there that are trying to attain their fitness goals, which I think is something very important. And everybody's, you know, kind of in a different place on their timeline, and there are some beginners in there, and I think they should be applauded, is what I think.
correct, exactly. All right, you
All
ready?
right.
Let's talk about operant conditioning, part 2 of operant conditioning.
Yeah.
This actually to me is the more interesting one. As far as, like you said, part one, we talked about how to do it with your witnesses and how to use operant conditioning to help your witnesses. This one is more how opposing counsel uses it to derail witnesses. And I think this is the one that's almost, I'd almost say it's more important actually, is for your witnesses to understand what opposing counsel is doing rather than the other one.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of, it's psychological warfare.
Yeah, exactly.
And while you want to use operant conditioning principles, which we can review again, which are positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and punishment, you want to use those to train your witness and prep your witness, right? To get them where they need to be effective. But then you also need to educate them about how the questioner is going to use some of these techniques against them as they're testifying. So do you want to start with positive reinforcement?
Sure. Yeah. So if you recall from the first episode, operant conditioning obviously is shaping behavior or changing behavior, either increasing it or decreasing it by rewarding or punishing. So going back to positive reinforcement obviously is where you're rewarding behavior with the goal of trying to increase the likelihood of that behavior occurring. But when you think about it from opposing counsel's standpoint, that's as the witness is giving answers, opposing counsel is giving these nonverbal cues. They're giving these sort of head nods, all these types of things that are rewarding the witness for giving the answer, and essentially makes the witness feel like they're being a good witness, they're providing accurate information, and then they want to continue to do that.
Yeah. So here's the key to this. So when the witness, here's the key. So when the witness gives an answer that we would categorize as faulty or erroneous, right?
Yeah.
Meaning they agree with something they shouldn't. They give too much information and an explanation. They volunteer information that's not asked for. So when they're making errors, the questioner picks up on that and rewards the error, because remember the definition, right? They want to increase that behavior. So when your witness is given this long, rambling answer, right? And that's something we don't want. The opposing counsel is shaking their head and nodding and looking very interested, right? And then the follow-up questions come in this like very positive reinforcement tone, like, oh wow, that's pretty interesting, can you tell me more about that? And then your witness is like, I'd be happy to. So it's manipulating the witness into thinking they're giving effective answers when in reality they're not, right?
Right. And I mean, they are giving effective answers for opposing counsel, right?
Yeah. Depends on your perspective.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I think that's exactly when, what they want to encourage is getting the long-winded responses, opening doors that they shouldn't, volunteering information, and all of that comes from that nonverbal behavior. Even the same thing, I think, kind of the whole idea where we talk about witnesses want to fill the silence. And they might give their short, concise response, and then opposing counsel is just kind of sitting there waiting for them to provide more. And then that's when that nonverbals become, they lean in, or they, pique their interest and all that. And then the witness goes, oh, okay, well, I guess he wants to hear more. So he or she wants to hear more. And that's when they launch into it as well.
Yeah. So this, acting interested, right? And then adjusting body language and you could just do it with body language and facial expression, right? You can positively reinforce.
Yeah, you don't even need to say anything really. Like you said, the nonverbals could be just enough to and we're going to talk about nonverbals on the other portion too. But yeah, nonverbals can be enough just as the verbals.
Now, I mean, you're the social psychologist. Is there a certain sensitivity to positive reinforcement when the expectation of a witness, because many witnesses come in, they're anxious, they're fearful, and they're expecting this to go really, really bad.
Yeah.
And then instead, right, there's this nice professional attorney doing all these positive reinforcements, right? Does the witness brain have kind of a more sensitivity to that, given the different dynamic there?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think it would be one of those things that you're going in expecting some dangerous environment, so you've got your guard up and you're trying to be defensive and all of these types of things because you think you're walking into a danger zone. And then when you get in there and you realize it's not as bad, essentially it causes you to be more relaxed and you let your guard down. And before you know it, you're thinking, okay, well, this isn't as bad as what everyone said it was going to be. And then I think, as we always say, if it feels good, you're screwing it up, right? If it hurts, you're doing good. If it feels good, you're screwing it up.
Yeah, this happened to me at the dentist the other day. I went in there like wincing, and I went halfway through it. I'm like, damn, this ain't that bad. By the end of it, I was kicking myself, right?
Yeah.
But boy, it felt good. I was like, wow, this ain't so bad. And then then that drill came out, and
then
that was that. So should we go to punishment or negative reinforcement? Since I just brought up the tooth drill, we can do either one.
Yeah, let's stick with the reinforcement. We talk about negative reinforcement because I think this is one you and I have talked about over and over again. But obviously, the idea of negative reinforcement that essentially remove. Yes, it is. I mean, removing a negative stimuli in order to increase the behavior. So a lot of times people think it's akin to punishment, but it's not. It's
yeah. So the new so the new one. I need to send you this slide if I haven't yet. So the new one, just because it's hard to come up with analogies for negative reinforcement, it really is. But a good one is So you're in traffic. You have a car in front of you. The light turns green. They're not going. So you get annoyed. So your behavior, because so the stimulus is the car,
right? That's
annoying you. You want to get rid of that stimulus. So what do you do with your horn?
Lay on
and then you light them up with your horn, and then they get it and they go away. That's negative reinforcement, right? You are doing something to get rid of a negative stimulus. Okay. So in deposition, the negative annoying stimulus is the opposing counsel repeating questions over and over and over. So your brain's like, hey, I'm going to beep the horn because I want this to stop. And the beeping the horn translates into, I'm going to explain myself to this reasonable person. And I'm going to explain some more because that's what's going to get the negative stimulus to go away. And Steve, it's actually the very opposite, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, no, we always talk about witnesses wanting to say, I'll say anything, whatever. I'll just kind of give these answers because if I just give my side of the story, I just get out of that chair and be done with it. But as we all know, the more you talk, the more you provide information, the longer you're going to be there. So it actually is counterintuitive to what you think.
It's just so hard it's really hard to understand, but it's also negative enforcement's really powerful, really powerful, because the brain, it's not a good thing for the brain. And if you think about it, in society, we don't handle it really well. Well, there you go. See, beeping the horn is really not, it's not a positive thing, right?
Right.
And in a society, when people are being annoying, right? We, unless you're at I mean, you and I share videos back and forth of, more fans getting clobbered in the face during fistfights during professional and college sports. Yeah. So obviously that's the very negative way to handle it. But yeah, the brain just is not, doesn't really handle that well. And the implications for deposition are pretty high because the brain wants to get the negative stimulus to stop by talking. Because that's pretty much the civilized way to do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we tend to do with our friends, our family, our coworkers. But then you do that with opposing counsel, and before you know it, more information, and so you're pretty much setting yourself up for additional counterattack, inconsistency, and then quite frankly, it just looks on videotape for deposition, it looks terrible because you're all over the place. And then if you do it at trial, I think, and again, you're the credibility. I think it hurts your credibility as a witness.
Oh, absolutely. It absolutely does. Because it's the whole idea of, the yeah, but explanation. You can give the same explanation where you can say yes, period, and then provide your explanation when you have an opportunity. But the yeah, but looks defensive. It looks like you're making an excuse, and it just.
Dude, are we gonna work? Are we working pivoting into this podcast?
We're gonna work. We
I
might work
love
pivoting
it.
into it. Yeah. Always
I
got to try to
love
work
it.
pivoting in.
Pivoting sucks, people. It
Yeah.
does not work. Does not work. I love watching the congressional testimony on TikTok. Oh my God.
Pivot,
Nobody
pivot,
can
pivot.
answer a question. It's yeah, but yeah, but yeah, but so we got some of those good videos. But man, yeah.
I think the other
Pivoting
thing, Bill,
doesn't
though, we
work.
didn't on negative reinforcement that we didn't talk about too is the idea when you get the same question over and over again, where you say no, 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 and then finally on the seventh one you say yes. Well, guess what?
Yeah,
No one
yeah,
cares that you said no the other times before that. Now I got the yes on the record.
yeah. So if you say no, 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 and then on number 4 you go, well, probably not. Well, okay, then probably not goes to maybe.
Yeah.
Then maybe goes to and then it's just yeah. So the witness needs to be trained to stick with the answer over and over and over. The problem is the brain doesn't like that because
Right.
remember the brain wants to beep the horn in traffic. That's what the brain wants to do. And in most situations in life, it works. Are you a horn beeper, by the way?
I'm a horn
Like,
beeper.
are you those? See, my wife's that. See, I don't do that because I live in Florida. See, I don't. You live in Texas. I don't want to get shot.
It's not.
I
It's
don't.
not. I don't lay on the horn though. It's
I'm
a
not an
friendly
instigator. My wife is on the horn and
laying on.
sometimes an occasional finger up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just not how I do it, right? But see, that's what your brain kind of wants to do, and so you gotta. It's very tricky to rewire that brain to stay persistent with the answer because it really goes against the way the brain is wired. So this requires some advanced training. That's what we do. If you just tell, by the way, every attorney tells their witness, right? Be consistent. Stick with don't change your answer. That doesn't work, does it?
No, no. It's easier
Yeah.
said than done.
It's much easier said than done.
A lot of times there's not enough work that goes into getting people, because like you said, it's not just something that you can just say don't do it and then expect a witness to not do it.
Yeah.
It's something you have to work and work and work to get them to
Yeah.
understand and, like you said, change their frame of thinking.
You're right. Okay, let's finish this up with punishment.
All right. So punishment is one we see a lot in some. I mean, we won't name any names of any attorneys, but we've seen some
Can't do it.
that
Can't do it.
are extremely bad in their punishment. But obviously, these are going to be the ones that are going to get sarcastic. These are going to be the ones that scream, yell. I mean, there's various ways to do it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be the table pounder, but it could be sarcasm, the tone and inflection in their voice.
Yeah.
All of it is
disappointment. Disappointment's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Disappointment and / confusion, right? You look like, so the witness. So here's the key. So the witness gives an effective answer. And so where punishment plays a role is after an effective answer, because remember, by definition, punishment is to decrease the behavior, right?
Yeah.
So the attorney doesn't like that answer. So what the attorney does is change their attitude, their emotional expression, facial expression, posture, tone of their voice, whatever, to get the witness off of that answer, right? And like you said, there are the table pounders. And the whole message is, the whole kind of message to the witness is, your answer is not sufficient, it's not appropriate, or I've seen them even kind of imply that they're lying, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So they give a good answer, then the attorney says, "I'm sorry, yeah, you're under oath, right? Do you expect a jury here in whatever county to believe that you're going to say X? Come on." Right. I mean, and that's really, like, if you're not ready for that, that's a really sophisticated form of punishment. And a lot of witnesses at that point panic, go fight or flight, and then it's off to the races.
Yeah. And we've seen it before. And even if or they freeze, right? They just start saying yes, yes, yes. They'll say whatever opposing counsel wants them to say.
Like freeze.
Yeah. They'll say whatever opposing counsel wants them to say because they don't want to have them yell at them again. They don't want to have them get sarcastic. They don't want to have all that stuff. They're like, geez, if I give these good answers, if I give these effective answers, I'm getting pushback. I don't like that. So I'm going to try to avoid getting that. So I'm going to give answers they like, which are not effective answers.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that, and I know the person you're talking about, who was shouting my name, one of his favorite things so the witness gives a perfect answer, right? Or it doesn't matter what the answer is they do this whole, move to strike is non-responsive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it's a good answer. Now, actually, see, when a witness starts pivoting, the opposing counsel should point that out.
Right.
And say, I object, move to strike. Your answer is non-responsive. Because when you're pivoting, you're not responding. But then what they'll do is they'll sneak that in there after a good answer
Right.
to try to fool the witness into, oh no, like I'm in trouble. Oh, he's going to call the judge or
Right.
something.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like you said, it's purely psychological warfare.
Oh, absolutely. I also see this, and Steve talked about this. I also see this when the witness authentically does not know the answer and says, I don't know, or they don't remember the answer. It's authentic. And how they punish that, right?
Yeah.
You don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You're the safety director of the trucking company.
Yeah.
You would talk a little bit about how they do that on the non-answers. They can punish the witness, and then the witness can end up taking a wild guess just to give him something to shut him up.
Well, I think that's one thing we see a lot, right? Of corporate representatives, people who are in higher up positions and stuff, when they say, I don't know, to things that they truly don't know. Like you said, they get punished. And to you, like you said, you're the safety director. You're telling me you don't know that. And it's obviously the witness then goes, oh man, I guess I should know. I mean, I better know. I'm the safety director. He's right. Maybe I'm not qualified for my job. So what they end up doing then is speculating. And of course, opposing counsel does nothing more than for them to speculate, because then they have a document or something they're going to shove in their face to show them that what they said was wrong. You know, and they would have been better off just saying, I don't know. And then sit with the repercussions of opposing counsel saying, you don't know, and say, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that covers it. So I think, in sum here, you have to teach your witnesses that operant conditioning will be used against them during testimony. And Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, the way to do this is when you're doing, say, deposition or trial testimony simulation, is to play those dirty tricks on them.
Yeah.
They have to be able to recognize this stuff.
Absolutely. I remember I told you just the other day, I got a witness so upset with me that he flipped me off. So,
now that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
it's really awesome.
And it's just because I kind of went in and got a little bit aggressive, but the point being was I wanted to shock his system, because I wanted him to kind of experience it so that he can desensitize him to those tactics, desensitize him to that aggression, so that when it happened in the deposition, he was ready, prepared for it, so that it didn't shock his system. Because that's exactly what some of these people do, that get really aggressive. They just want to basically short circuit the witness's kind of thought process, right? Amygdala hijack and short circuit their thinking. So before you know it, they're saying things and doing things they wouldn't normally do. And it was all predicated on the fact that opposing counsel was punishing them for effective answers, not because they were doing something wrong, but actually because they were doing something right.
Totally agree. All right, there you have it, folks. Operant conditioning to be used during witness prep, but it's also going to be used during the deposition. Steve, take us out.
All right. As always, check us out, courtroomsciences.com. Bill and I's podcasts are up there, our papers, a lot of different stuff as it relates to courtroom sciences. Go and check that out. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. This has been another edition of the Litigation Psychology Podcast, brought to you by Courtroom Sciences.
That's it.